Hello everyone, welcome back to Think Lab by Saurabh. So artificial intelligence is changing very fast. So just a few years ago, most AI system is simply answer the questions, right? So today AI agent can remember, retrieve information, use the external tools, and plan the complex, tasks. Even they can collaboration with the other AI agent. So, but how did we get here, right? So what is the difference between the stateless agent, stateful agent, and context-free aware agent, and also autonomous AI agent? So in this video, we will explore the complete evolution of AI agent in a simple and practical way. So by end of this video, you will clearly understand why memory and context are transforming the modern AI. So let's begin. So what is an AI agent? So first, let's understand what is an AI agent actually. So an AI agent is an intelligent software system that receive a goal, process the information, and make decision and produce an action or some kind of response, right? So unlike a traditional chatbot, an AI agent can often use the external tools, access the knowledge, and perform the multiple steps to complete a particular task, right? So the intelligence of an AI system depends on its capability, right? So let's explore how those capabilities have evolved, right? The stage one, that is called the stateless AI agent, right? So the first stage is the stateless AI agent. So a stateless agent has no memory, right? Every request is completely independent, right? It never remember what happened before. Imagine you are asking, what is Python? The AI gives you the answer. Then you ask the question, what's library did you mention earlier? So the stateless agent can't answer because it has already forgotten the previous conversation. So every interaction start from the zero. So this make stateless agent simple and fast, right? So they are the suitable for one-time questions, like FAQ or basic chatbot. However, they cannot personalize response or build long-term relation with the user. So this is their biggest limitations. Stage two, that is called the session-stateful AI agent. So the next stage is the session-stateful agent. It means this type of agent remember the information only during the current conversation. For example, if you ask the several related question in a one chatbot, so the agent understand the context. It know what what that model or previous example refer to. However, once the session is end, all the memory disappear, right? So the next time you start a new conversation, the agent begins from the scratch. So this provides a much better user experience than the stateless system, but still the lacks long-term memory, long-term memory, right? So now we are moving to the stage three, that is called persistent stateful agent. Persistence stateful AI agent. So now we arrive at one of the biggest improvement in AI. So persistent stateful agent. So this agent remember the information across the multiple sessions. They can store the user preference. They can also store the important facts, previous conversation, and the complete task. For example, suppose you have always preferred the Python example instead of Java, right? So the persistent agent can remember that the preference, right? So the next time you ask the programming question, it automatically respond using the Python. So persistent memory usually include the different types of memory. So working memory store the information needed for the current state. Semantic memory store the fact and the knowledge, and the episodic memory stored the experience from the previous interaction, right? So together this memory create a personalized AI experience, right? The stage four is the context aware AI agent, right? So the memory alone is not enough. Sometimes the AI needs information that change the every day. So for example, today's weather, company's policies, or medical document, financial report, or any kind of product manual, right? So this where context aware agent become more powerful here. So instead of relying only on memory, they retrieve the fresh information from the external sources, right? So these sources may include the vector database, some kind of knowledge database, or document, or any API, or some kind of enterprise system. So they can also use the RAG, retrieval augment generation. So this is the one of the most popular approach for building the context aware agent. Another important technology that is called we call model context protocol, MCP. So MCP also provide the centralized way for the any AI model to communicate with the external tools and services. So as the result, the AI can make decision using the accurate and up to date information instead of relying on the training data. The step 5 is the called we called autonomous AI agent. So now we reach the most advanced stage, the autonomous AI agent. So this agent doesn't just answer the question, they plan, they give the reason, they use the tools, they evaluate the result, and they continue working until the objective is completed. So imagine, you are asking, analyze the last month's sales and prepare the report and create the presentation slides and email them to the my manager, right? So the autonomous AI agent can break the work into smaller tasks. So they first collect the required information, analyze the data, generate the charts, prepare the presentation, and complete the workflow. And so instead of acting like a chatbot, they behave, more like a digital teammate. So this why this autonomous AI agent, becoming the major focus in AI research and industry. So however modern AI agent works, so let's quickly understand the architecture. Everything start with the user request. So the request, enter the session context. So then next the memory manager retrieve the relevant memories. Then they planning the engine decide what need to do be done, right? If the additional information is required, the agent access the rack database, different database API or MCP enabled tools. So the larger, so large language model perform the reasoning and generate the action. So finally the agent evaluate its own work, update the memory and deliver the response. So this entire loops, makes the modern AI agents, they more capable for the traditional chatbot, right? So real world applications, we are talking about the real world application where this agent use. So customer support assistant, that time you remember the previous cases. So coding assistant that understand your project, healthcare system, they retrieve the medical guidelines. So there are lots of applications, they have a no longer experiment ideas, right? So many organizations are actively developing the system with this kind of capability. So now we are going to do the some kind of key comparison. So let's summarize them. So a stateless agent respond, right? A session stateful agent remember during the one conversation. The persistent stateful agent remember the across the multiple conversation. The context aware agent retrieve the external knowledge, and the autonomous AI agent remember the retrieve, plan, reason, use the tools, and complete the task. So every step, every stage build on the previous one, right? So this evolution is making AI system more useful, reliable, and capable. So from the final thought, the future of AI is not just about the large language model. It's about the combining the memory, context, reasoning, planning, and the external tools into the completing the intelligence system. If you are learning AI today, so understand this evolution will help you the building the application attached to all the real problem instead of simply generating the text. So by end of this video, I hope this video help you to understand the evolution of AI agent in a simple and practical way. If you enjoy this video, so please like it and share with your friend, and subscribe to the Think Lab by Saurabh for more content on artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, LLM, RAG, MCP, AI agent, and the modern AI engineering. So let's tell me in the comment also which type of AI agent do you think will dominate in the next generation of AI application. So thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Happy learning.